Tesla software version 11 is here whether you like it or not, and brings with it a whole new user interface. So let's take a closer look and help get you familiar with your car again. The new user interface that comes with Tesla software version 11, aka the 2021 holiday update, made many feel like Tesla gave them a big lump of coal. And although Elon Musk did mention that many version 11 UI improvements are coming, there is no telling when that will happen. Now in this video, we are going to take a closer look at Tesla software version 11. Now, since there were so many changes, we will be covering a lot, making this a fairly long video. And many of you will not want to sit through this entire video, so I will be breaking it up into different segments, which you can navigate through in the timeline, and I'll add that in the description below. Now, number one, we will start with what's new. Number two, a tour of the home screen. Number three, we will take a look at the changes that have been made to the main menu. Number four, guiding you through the changes made with climate control. Number five, navigating through the music app. Number six, how to use navigation. And number seven, Sentry mode and Dashcam. So let's get started. If you have FSD Beta, you now have 5 strikes before you're suspended from the FSD Beta program. Now with this update, Tesla is giving you a fresh start and has reset your forced autopilot disengagements counter to 0. Now there are several FSD Beta release notes and autopilot improvements that I won't go into in this video, so be sure to check that out if you're in the FSD Beta program. When version 11 was first released, this is what most people were the most excited about. It was essentially a version of the Tesla Model X Christmas dance that has now been added to all Teslas in what's known as the light show. Now in the spirit of when the software was released, which was around Christmas, Tesla preloaded it with a Christmas song, but you can choreograph your own light show with music of your choice by using a free open source program called X-Lights. Now, this is a topic that deserves a video of its own, and quite honestly, I probably won't tackle this one, but I'm sure there will be plenty of tutorials out there soon, if not already. Now, to watch the light show on your car, go to the toy box, tap Light Show, and once you press Start the Show, you will be able to adjust the volume. Now, once you do that, step out of the car, make sure all of the doors are closed, and enjoy the show. You can now customize which apps are on the bottom menu bar for quick access. Now to do that, first tap on the icon with 3 dots and it will show you all of the apps you have access to. Press and hold the app you would like to add to the main menu bar and drag it anywhere under the section labeled My Apps. You can also press and hold the icon with 3 dots, and from here you can drag and drop any of the app icons. As of right now, you can only have 4 apps in the My Apps section. You will also notice a section called Recent Apps. Now this is where the most recent app you accessed from the app menu will appear. In this case, you will only see the latest app you accessed. However, if, for example, you only have 3 apps in the My Apps section, then the latest 2 apps you used will appear in the Recent Apps section. If you don't have any apps in the My Apps section, then the 5 most recent apps will appear on the menu bar. No matter how many you have in the My Apps section configured, you will only see 5 apps on the bottom menu bar. Now, according to Tesla, the display has been simplified to focus on navigation, media, and the most common primary controls, and give you instructions on how to access certain controls and information, which we'll get into a little later. The blind spot camera has been a request for a long time, and Tesla has finally delivered. Now you can automatically see a live camera view of the blind spot whenever you activate your turn signal. Now to make this feature active, tap the car icon, Autopilot, and scroll down to Automatic Blind Spot Camera to toggle it on. Now, on a side note, if you are at a stoplight and you have the turn signal on, you can actually swipe down on the image to take it off the screen. You can now edit waypoints, which is something we will cover a little later in navigation. TikTok, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Sudoku have all been added, and they have also added multiplayer functionality to the Battle of Polytopia. You can now adjust your subwoofer, which will be covered in the music section. It used to be that when the battery was 20% or lower, you could not preheat or cool the car, but now you can from the app. It will ask you if you're sure, but by pressing yes, you will be able to precondition the car cabin. Tesla goes on to say that to protect your car's battery, climate will remain unavailable under extreme low charge scenarios. The front row seat heaters can now automatically adjust the seat temperature based on the cabin environment and the set temperature. This will make it easier for people who continually switch the seat settings for their comfort level. There have been some improvements to Dashcam, which we'll go over a little later in the video. Light and dark modes have become more and more popular in the tech world, and Tesla has added a feature to change the screen's display to dark mode. To do that, tap the car icon, Appearance, and then select Dark. You can also select Light Mode and Automatic. Tesla has added the ability to hide map details by tapping the Pin button on the map. This will help to declutter the navigation map by hiding the points of interest. More on that in navigation a little later. Sentry Mode Live Camera Access was actually released in the US in a previous update, but has been expanded into more countries. Now, this allows you to view the front, back, and the two-side repeater cameras from the app. Now, to make this feature active, tap the car icon, Safety, then scroll down to toggle on View Live Camera via mobile app. Access to the camera also requires app version 4.2.1 or higher, and you also need premium connectivity. At first glance, it doesn't look like much has changed on the home screen. You still have the car on the left side, the navigation map on the right, and the menu bar on the bottom. But upon a closer look, there have been plenty of changes. Now we'll start with the left side of the screen. The image and controls for the car have really not changed. The visuals are still there, along with the controls like opening the front, trunk, the charge port, along with locking and unlocking the doors. In the upper left, you have Park, Reverse, Neutral, and Drive. A letter highlighted in black indicates which mode you're in. You will also see the same letter below it once you activate that particular gear. That will then be replaced by the speedometer once you press your foot on the accelerator. When Drive or D is blue, it means you're in Autopilot or Full Self-Driving Beta. Just below that, when you are driving, you'll find the regen indicator that runs the entire width of the part of the display. The current speed limit is in the upper right, and just to the left of that is the set speed the car will go if you activate traffic-aware cruise control or autopilot. Above that in the upper right is the battery indicator that will show either the percent of charge or the estimated range by tapping the number to the left of the battery. If you tap the battery, it will take you to the charging screen. Opening the charge port will also bring you to the charging screen. To exit out of the charging screen, you can either swipe the window down or tap the battery again. The instrument cluster is on the far left. The section below the car is now blank unless pertinent information becomes available, such as seatbelt warnings, any kind of alert or warning, and if you have HomeLink, this is where it will show up when you're home. A great feature for those with FSD Beta is the ability to have visualization take up the entire screen by swiping to the right and vice versa to get back to normal view. Now we take you to the map portion of the screen. Now on the top left from the left to right, you have a lock icon that shows you the status of the locks, which will also lock or unlock the doors. Side note, you can also unlock the doors when the car is in park by pushing the button on the right stalk. To the right of the lock icon is the time of day, the current temperature outside, home link if your car is equipped, and for FSD beta users, the camera icon to send a video clip to Tesla. Below all of that is the compass and navigation search. On the far upper right is the passenger side airbag status indicator, and below that are menu items for maps, which we'll cover a little later. Now to the bottom menu bar from left to right. The car icon is known as the control button, and this is where you'll find almost everything you need from controls and settings to important information. To the right of that is climate control, which we'll cover much more detail a little later. The row of custom apps is in the center, which we covered in more detail earlier. To the far right is climate control for easier passenger access along with volume control. When you press the car icon, also known as controls, the window that pops up is significantly different. To start, the number of menu items has changed. Quick controls is now just controls. Pedals and steering is a new category, and it looks like it has replaced what was previously driving. Charging is a new menu item, while autopilot, locks, lights, and display look to remain mostly the same. However, the icons for light and display have changed. Trips is a new category and replaces the old card at the bottom left portion of the screen, where you get all of the same information, just in a different format. Distance, duration, and average energy of your current trip, distance, total energy, and average energy since your last charge, trip A and trip B, and of course, your odometer. If you scroll down, you can reset the current trip, trip A and trip B. You can also still change the name of both trip A and B by tapping on either one of them, typing in the new name, and then tapping save. Outside of a new icon for the new navigation menu item looks to remain unchanged. Safety and security has been replaced with safety. Service and software remain, and this is now where you'll need to go to get tire information. Upgrades is new to the menu, which is where you can make upgrades to your car, like premium connectivity and full self-driving, and so on. Let's take you back up to controls, because there have been some big changes here, especially if you put it side by side with the previous version. It now serves a bigger purpose because there are a lot more controls in one convenient location, such as headlights, mirror and steering wheel settings, windshield wipers, Sentry mode, and Dashcam, opening the glove box, and more. A few things to note. Pushing the left stalk away from you or pulling it toward you will give you quick access to lights in the bottom left portion of the screen. By pushing the button on the left stalk, it will give you quick access to the wiper settings. You may have noticed the upper right portion of the navigation screen is now free of any icons. However, it will let you know when the passenger side airbag is turned off and when you lose LTE service. There may be others, but outside of that, the design team has tried to keep it clear of icons in the upper right. Where are they now? Well, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, alerts, home link, and personal settings are now at the top of the controls window. Dashcam and Sentry mode now have bigger buttons on the bottom right. To exit the controls window, you can either swipe down from the top or tap the car icon. The look of climate control really hasn't changed much. However, the overall functionality has had a major overhaul. Just when you were comfortable with the old interface, now it's time to learn a new one. So let's start with the obvious, turning it on. Well, there are actually a number of ways you can do that. First, tap either one of the temperatures at the bottom of the screen. Second, press and hold either one of the temperatures. And third, swipe up from anywhere at the bottom of the screen. This will not only turn on climate control, but also give the full menu. Side note, you will know climate control is turned off because the temperatures are grayed out. If you don't need the full climate control menu and just need access to the seat heaters or front and rear defroster, tap either one of the arrows on the left or right side of the temperature and a smaller window pops up. You can change the seat heater from auto to manual and adjust as needed. You can also use the slider to change the temperature by pressing and sliding the black dot, or tap anywhere on the temperature line to quickly change the temperature. There is another trick to using the slider, but there is actually a slight technique to it. No matter where the temperature is on the slider, you need to start sliding from the temperature and either slide left or right from there. It will not slide from anywhere outside of the brackets on either side of the temperature. To turn split climate on or off, press either one of the arrows to access this small menu and tap split. If it's grayed out, it's off, and blue indicates when it's on. The only difference between the driver's and passenger side is the layout of the icons and which seat heater you're controlling. The main climate control menu has more features such as vent control, rear seat heaters and fan, scheduled departure, keep climate on, along with dog and camp mode. To turn off climate control, the easiest way is to press and hold the temperature until it turns off. Otherwise, if you tap it, the menu will pop up and you will need to turn it off from there. We've also seen some big changes to the media player. In fact, there is no longer one specific icon to access the player. For example, if you want to listen to Slacker radio, select Streaming, and then you'll have access to your favorites, top songs, and so on. The same goes for Spotify, the radio, TuneIn, Tidal, Karaoke, and Bluetooth. You still have 3 different sizes of the media player to choose from, but the process of switching between them is a little different. We'll use Bluetooth in this example, but keep in mind it works for all music sources. Now, if you have Bluetooth as one of your favorites, you simply tap it, and it will open the media player, full screen. For a smaller version of the media player, you can either swipe down from the top or tap the Bluetooth icon again. To hide the media player, either swipe down or tap the Bluetooth icon one more time. If you want the medium-sized player, tap the list icon in the upper right part of the music player. That, along with search and settings, are in all 3 versions of the player, small, medium, or large. Now, unlike the old version, swiping down will not take you to the smaller player, but rather hide it. Upon tapping the media source again, it will take you to the full screen player. Swiping down or tapping the icon will once again take you to the medium-sized player. Now, in order to get back to the small-sized player, you will need to tap the list icon one more time. Swiping up and down will take you back and forth between the full screen and small player. Now, the only way to get in and out of the medium-sized player is to tap the list icon. When you're in full screen mode, the media player adjusts to whatever source you're using. As you can see with Bluetooth, you have devices and playlists, but when you're using Slacker, you have favorites, top stations, DJ series, and genres. No matter which source you are using, you can always switch them by tapping the current one and then making your selection. The small media player only gives you controls: back 1 track, pause and play, and forward 1 track, all of course which can be done from the right scroll wheel. Push to pause and play, and push left or right to advance or go back a track. Now we wrap up the media player section with audio settings. Now the main change is the fact that you can now adjust how much bass you want by directly changing the output from the subwoofer. And you can adjust the sensitivity of immersive sound to off, low, medium, or high, or just set it to auto. You still have balance adjusting left or right, and if you want more sound up front or in the back. Options allows you to add DJ commentary if you're using Slacker, whether or not you want explicit content, which only affects Tidal and Slacker, and if you want to allow mobile control. At first glance, there hasn't been much change in the map portion of the screen either, but upon closer look, you can start to see some of the changes. The compass is now to the left of search navigation. A couple of side notes you may or may not know about is tapping the compass gives you 2 different views: view north all of the time or have the view move with you. And if compass is grayed out, that means the map is not centered on you. By tapping the compass, it will center you back onto the screen. Now this can really come in handy if you lose your location. To the right of the compass is the navigate bar. Tap it and it will give you several different options. Starting at the top has your home address, work address, and all of your charging options listed on the map. This feature used to be grouped with Map View and Traffic Conditions, but has now moved to the Navigate menu. The next row down has your most recent destinations, favorites, along with I'm hungry, which navigates you to a random restaurant nearby, and I'm feeling lucky, which takes you to a point of interest nearby as well. If the keyboard is gone, simply tap the Navigate bar again and it will pop up, allowing you to type in the address you're looking for. Once you add an address, it will give you turn-by-turn directions. If you need to make changes to the route, you can now do that by adding your own waypoints. Now to do that, you'll see at the bottom right of the turn-by-turn directions list is an icon with 3 dots. When you tap it, you will have 3 options: Add a stop, Edit trip, and Settings. We'll start with Add a stop. This will take you back to the menu you're familiar with. Either search for an address or type in the one you want. Tap the address and it will add it to the route. Now keep in mind it will still add superchargers to the route if you won't have enough charge between the 2 waypoints. Now you can also add waypoints by pressing and holding a spot on the map, and it will show you the waypoint along with an address. Tap Add and it will add it to the route. Now this is a great way to change to a more preferred route. Now that you have all of the waypoints you want, you can see a list of all of them and even make more edits from there. To do that, once again, tap the 3 dots, Edit Trip, and you will see a list of all of your waypoints. From here, you can delete a waypoint by tapping the X to the right of it. You can change the order of the waypoints by tapping and holding the address and dragging it where you want it. And you can add another waypoint, which will take you back to search destination. Settings is a quick way to change the navigation volume. Side note, you can change the volume when the voice is giving directions by using the left scroll wheel, and it will not impact the volume of your media player. You will know you're changing the volume of navigation when you see the navigation icon on the volume indicator. Once again, you will need to wait until you hear the navigation voice in order to change the volume with the scroll wheel on the left. And of course, there are several other settings in there that you can play around with. You may also notice an icon on the bottom left of the turn-by-turn directions. When it's blue, it means Navigate on Autopilot is active. When it isn't blue, Navigate on Autopilot is turned off. Now, this is only available if you have Enhanced Autopilot, FSD, or FSD Beta. Now that waypoints have been included to the navigation, there is a new point of view you can have on the map. You still have facing north at all times, the map moving and rotating with your movement, and now there are 2 different types of full view of your route. The one with the dashed line will show you a full view of your next waypoint. Once you reach the waypoint, it will automatically switch to a full view of your next waypoint. The one without the dashed line is a full view of your entire route with all of the waypoints in view. Also, on a side note, when you're home and you want to navigate to work, you can swipe down or right on the navigation menu and it will take you directly to work. Same thing goes when you're at work or anywhere else for that matter. If you swipe down or swipe right, it will automatically put your home address in the directions. Now, in an attempt to keep the maps uncluttered, you can tap the screen to hide the Navigate bar, Compass, and Map Options bar on the right. Tap the screen again to view them and gain access. The bar on the right has 3 different icons. Tapping the globe will take you between basic maps to a satellite view. By tapping the traffic light, it will turn on and off traffic data, and the pin will turn on and off points of interest on the map. Now, on a side note, you will need premium connectivity for all 3 of these features. Having the option to show or hide points of interest is new, and in their effort to keep things simple, they have moved charging locations to the Navigate bars I mentioned earlier. The location of both Sentry Mode and Dashcam have changed and requires an extra step to get to either one of them. To do that, you will need to tap the car icon, and you will be able to see the status of both of them in the bottom right. They both still work the same. They are just bigger icons for easier access. Now, while recording, give the Dashcam a quick tap and it will save the last 10 minutes. Tap and hold until you hear a beep, and it turns off. A quick tap will turn it back on. You can turn Sentry mode on and off from this menu. If you want to watch any of the footage from Dashcam or Sentry mode, you actually have to go to a different location. Now, it's an app that can be accessed on the main menu bar at the bottom of the screen. Now, if it's not one of your favorites, tap the icon with the 3 dots, then tap the Dashcam icon. Now, it may take a while to load, but once it does, it will bring up the screen most of you should be familiar with, if you've worked with it before. Tap the 3 lines in the upper left to see a list of clips that include Sentry mode, events, and Dashcam, or choose between the two. When playing a clip, you can pause, play, and skip to different parts of the timeline. The red dot is a point the computer highlights as a point in time that might be of interest on Sentry mode, and for Dashcam, it's where you tap the icon to record the clip. You can delete individual clips by using the trash can icon, and if you want to delete all of the clips, you will need to go into Settings by tapping the car icon, Safety, scroll down and tap Delete Dashcam Clips. You can also format the USB drive, which will also delete all of your clips. Now, while we're here, a quick review of the different Dashcam settings. Now, if you want to view live cameras from your app, you will need to toggle that feature on here. You will also need to make sure you have Sentry mode on in order to view the cameras from the app. Now, take note, when you access the cameras, the car will flash its lights. Now, there are a few ways to record the last 10 minutes of Dashcam. Manual, which is the quick tap while it's recording I mentioned earlier, and if you honk the horn. Auto will save the last 10 minutes automatically when the car detects some kind of safety event, such as an accident or an airbag deployment. You can still have the honk option while you're in the auto setting. Off simply turns Dashcam off. Press manual or auto to turn it back on. With Sentry mode, you can have it on all of the time or have it turned off when you're at home or at work or your favorites that you have in your navigation list. You can also turn it off and on from here. Well, there was obviously a lot covered in this video, and although I tried to be as thorough as possible, I am human and may have missed a few things here and there. Also, if you know of any tips or tricks not mentioned in this video, be sure to let everyone know in the comment section below. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, do me a favor and click that like button. Well, until next time, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.